Before you auditioned, did you read the books?
No, I remember actually, I was just on my last day of filming the Sarah Jane Adventures when I got the audition through for Game of Thrones, and it was like, I got the audition when I was in Cardiff shooting Sarah Jane, and I had to be in London the next morning to audition for Game of Thrones. So I was like, wow, okay, that's a really short turnover time. So I didn't have any time.
That's got to be a quick turnover to get your mind into it as well.
Yeah, completely.
You're running around with the doctor one day, and the next day you're
in the morning. Yeah. Just this. All I knew was it was going to be a HBO show. It was going to go for a few seasons, and I didn't have time to read the books or really swat up on it that much. Other than I knew that it was going to be. It was kind of a pretty big deal.
Wikipedia was your friend.
Wikipedia was my friend, yeah, but still, there was only so much information I could fit in. So I went to the audition, and I really cocked it up. Like, I was just so nervous. I had such little time to prepare. I kind of went there. I was like flustering on my lines. These papers were everywhere, and I left the audition. I remember thinking, fuck. I was like, fuck. I was really down on myself. I was like, not only have I just screwed up an opportunity for a decent job, I've also probably screwed up an opportunity with that casting director, and I was just like, fuck. And then a week had gone by, and I'd completely forgotten about it. I'd put it out the back of my head, and I was like, whatever, that one just didn't work. And my agent called me in and was like, Nina Gold wants to see you again. They want to recall you for the part of Loris. And I was like, what? Really? Are you kidding me? Like, I really thought I would not be hearing about that job again. She was like, yeah. So then I was like, okay, second chance, let's do this. So I read up all about this character, and I went into the audition and I just nailed it. I nailed it like I've never nailed an audition before. I left that place going, I think I got it. Like, I felt really good. And then a week passed again, and I was like, it must have just went away. I didn't think about it. And then I got a call saying I got the job, and here I am. It's incredible.
From the moment you got the job, how long was it before you were then off rehearsing, filming? Was it in Ireland it was being done in?
Yeah. Well, the main hub of it is in Belfast, so the main studios, all the costume is in Ireland. I think there was about 2.5 months before shooting started, and up until that 2.5 months I had a lot of horse riding to do, jousting, there was like lots of fittings on my armour, so I had a long time to kind of prepare for the role, which was so nice, because usually you get such little time to prepare. So it was great. So I read the books, or I started to read the books, and I just fell in love. I remember I was reading the books on the tube and just thinking, wow, I've got into something really fucking amazing. Really amazing, yeah. And I was so surprised that I enjoyed the book so much, because I've never been that big a fantasy reader. Well, I don't think I've read any fantasy before, other than before Game of Thrones. I remember going, this is really good. This isn't just fantasy. This is drama. This is like human interest. It transcends fantasy and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I was just getting more and more excited.
And then you got the scripts and realised there were slight deviations.
Well, it's really
one in particular. You seem to take your clothes off.
Yeah, that was such a funny thing, because that wasn't actually in the original scripts.
What, you said, hey, do you know what would be better?
Yeah. I can see. You just seen of me shaving a guy. I just remember like a week before, they were like, we've added this scene, because I think they filmed all the stuff and realised they needed to add more content to kind of fill the hour. And they said, okay, you've got a week, you've got this new scene. I was like, yes, amazing, more scenes, this is great. And I read it and I was, okay, great. So I had very little time to prepare for that one, but...
I've got to, how do you prepare for something like that? That's not in a bad way. Because it's not like some kind of nice intimate scene. You've got like about half a dozen people, then a camera. Could you just move your bum to the left a bit?
Yeah, totally.
How do you do that?
I mean, not only, are you doing a gay scene, a scene where you're topless, a scene where you're shaving someone, a scene where there's lots of dialogue, because it was quite difficult to kind of, continuity-wise, to remember what part of the chest you were shaving, what line, and it was a real head fuck. It's like, you don't think, when you see it, it looks so effortless, but you're kind of, there's a whole you know, it's crazy.
How long did it take to actually film that scene?
I think it took maybe half a day. Not long, not that long.
In Belfast?
In Belfast, yeah.
So it's quite cold.
Freezing. It was so cold. But yeah, there's lots of factors like, you know, you do it, you know, you're filming in this small unit of people, which is kind of intimidating enough. And in the back of your head, you're going, God, this is going to be seen by millions of people. But you just got to forget all of that.
Well, that's the thing, because straight away, I mean, obviously, it goes out to a mass market.
Yeah.
It goes out to people who see it on TV,
Yeah.
then have people who see it. I mean, I would probably think that a large percentage of this audience have seen you naked.
Yeah.
Do you think it's fair that they've seen you and you've not seen them?
Take off your clothes.
I don't think that's the pressing Gallifrey. What was the police?
Screaming naked ladies.
And Finn Jones.
I think that the concept of thinking that big is so far out that I don't think you can. I think if you did start to think like that, you'd melt down. So I think I just don't go there. I don't think anyone can possibly go there because it's not helpful. You just go in and you do the truth of the scene. You know, you don't, because you have to. The stakes are so high. And then you do it, and it's after you do it, you then go, what did I just do? Oh my God. But yeah.
I mean, obviously, the thing that I've noticed with Game of Thrones is the fact that it's become embraced by fans, to the point where you've got people walking around with, like, you know, Winterfell t-shirts on, and I'm House Lannister, and what are you, and all that sort of thing. I mean, have you found yourself walking around just in normal, general life, and suddenly going, whoa, hang on a second, you know,
Oh, always.
being thrown by something?
Always, just in London, you know, you're either walking, you know, train stations got these massive billboards of Game of Thrones, or you see someone reading the books, and
Do you ever want to just go,
oh, I do. I have it.
you don't recognise me, hang on, look.
This great time I was on the tube about 2 months ago, and I was feeling quite, you know, sprightly, and just before I got off, I saw this guy was reading Game of Thrones, and I didn't say anything for the whole journey. I just waited. And then just as I was getting off, I went, oh, it's a good book, that, isn't it? He went, yeah. I was like, yeah, I played Sir Loras. And he just looked at me and went, oh my God. It was my stop, and I just ran off. So just moments like that, it's just so wonderful that the show is so loved and you know, out there. It's fantastic. And also the fact that it's not that kind of, it's still quite niche. So I can go on a tube, and it's not like something like Twilight where I expect people to recognise me, or I'm in fear of people recognising me. I can kind of choose when I can get into that kind of thing and not, and it's nice.
Now, you just filmed season 3, or are you filming season 3?
Yeah, finished.
You just finished
Yeah.
it. How long does the season take to film?
I think they shoot from July till about November.
And how much of that roughly do you find yourself involved in?
It all depends on how many episodes and scenes you're doing. This year I think I did about 12 weeks overall. So yeah, I did 12 weeks over the course of that block of time.
Do you find that you're still doing other things around the same time, or do you...
It's difficult. I've tried to squeeze stuff in, and I've had situations where I've got jobs, and I've had to give those jobs up because it clashes, and it's very difficult to kind of do other work alongside Game of Thrones. But it's Game of Thrones, so I don't give a shit. It's such a massive opportunity for someone, you know, a relatively newcomer in the acting world, and so to just be given this chance so early on, I think, well, do you know what?